Hi, everybody. I'm Doug Corpuel, Executive Vice President of Business Development for Datalytics Technologies, formerly known as RapidDecision. I'm here to introduce our seminar, 4 Common Pitfalls to Avoid in Implementing Cross-Functional Business Intelligence. The presentation will last approximately a half hour, followed by a question and answer period. You may submit questions online through the questions panel on the right side of your screen. All questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. Pressing the orange right arrow key in the upper right corner of the GoToMeeting console will minimize the console. Then pressing the orange left arrow will return the console for questions. I can't think of anybody better to talk about the subject of business intelligence than Joe Guerra. Joe created the RapidDecision EDW product, which allows companies to connect JD, PeopleSoft, or Oracle eBusiness Suite to leading business intelligence products, and is the leader of the group that has been installing business intelligence solutions for the Oracle community for the past 15 years. His group has helped hundreds of companies gather the information they need and present it the way they need it. Whether his clients' needs have been to produce simple reports or create complex analytics or dashboards, Joe's team has been there to help. Joe's passion and intimate knowledge of business intelligence become evident as he starts to talk, so I'm going to let him get started right now.
Well, thank you, Doug. I do appreciate the kind words and opening remarks. So good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all the folks that we have on the phone from around the world. I do appreciate you joining us today. Those of you who have known us as RapidDecision for many years might have noticed a new name Doug mentioned. That's Datalytics Technologies Incorporated. RapidDecision EDW has been providing customers business intelligence data warehousing solutions for nearly 20 years at this point. Today's presentation is going to focus on the 4 common pitfalls that we see people running into when they have cross-functional business intelligence. Things like GL to order to cash, GL, procure to pay, inventory analysis, customer profitability. In reality, 4 common pitfalls really are hundreds of common pitfalls. There's really not a limit to the pitfalls that our customers are seeing today. We're going to focus on the 4 main business intelligence topics our customers have been asking us about for the past year or so. Succeeding in business intelligence across these business lines is something that people want to make sure they are able to do. Unfortunately, there's obstacles that are impeding their progress toward doing the analysis and running their business through the numbers that they constantly run into. They also find that not all the business intelligence tools installed in their environment or what they may have used in the past work the same. Different business intelligence tools succeed in different ways, and some of them simply can't succeed in doing cross-functional business intelligence. And third, the options that you have in terms of preparing your business intelligence implementation. What can you do to increase your rate of success in business intelligence across the business lines? It's important to first know about the market dynamics, though. Why are we doing this? Why is business intelligence so important today? Well, in reality, business intelligence is one of the few things in the world today that can actually simultaneously save you time, save you money, and make you money. Those are 3 things that I believe in on a regular basis talking to my customers: saving time, saving money, making money. That's what business intelligence can do for you. In terms of where you get your data, well, there's a lot of sources, but who's asking about it? That's really the issue today. People are asking more and more complex questions of you. What we definitely need to do is be able to answer the questions being asked so that we can run our business through the numbers. CEOs, CXOs of all kinds, chief accounting, chief financial, chief information officers, all have different needs. But the folks running the business are requiring more and more information. Line level managers, finance, sales, distribution, even manufacturing, warehouse management folks are all asking questions of the data to be able to identify what's going on. We need to know that our product, whether it's a service or a physical product, is being delivered in a timely manner the way we expected and being able to measure that against our plan. Sales and marketing executives certainly are the ones that are being hit the most today for what needs to be done. Unfortunately, the CIO is still stuck in the middle trying to identify what they can and can't deliver in short order. The demand for data to be turned into information so that decisions can be made is higher and higher every day. That demand's not going to go down. It's only going to go up. Not only is it going to go up because of how the business is reacting to the environment of the world today, but how we work has completely changed. Everyone is probably connected to a mobile device at arm's reach at this time. It'd be nice to run a survey on one of these days when we're doing this presentation. How many devices are within arm's reach of you right now? What's your patience level for getting that data? Is it 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes? I know, you're probably all laughing at me right now. The simple fact of the matter is it's more like 2, 3, or 4 seconds to wait for that data. We're in an economy, we're living in a world where we need instantaneous gratification in terms of our data and our information. We want the information now, we need the information now. But how do we have information when we have a world of disparate data sources? Our data sources today are coming from a myriad of different places, locations, types, systems. It's all over the place. And I know a lot of people say, well, I can't trust my Excel, but how many budgets are in Excel? How do I turn those analytics from last month into trends for this month? How do I get my operational reports out that match my analytics? How do I merge my production data and my finance data? Because production's saying they're doing a great job, but finance says we're losing money. How is it that I can turn all this data into information? Well, the simple reality is creating some sort of a data store, commonly known as a data mart, whether that data mart is physical or virtual. We'll talk about that in a minute. Whether it's physical or virtual doesn't really matter. What we need to do is prepare the data and turn it into information so that the business intelligence analysis or analytical applications turn the information into knowledge and allow a knowledge worker, somebody who's making those decisions, take that knowledge and turn it into action. Too many times people say to me, Joe, business intelligence is really looking at the past to identify trends, and we then need to make decisions based upon that. Well, that's one way of thinking about it, and it's true. That is one use of business intelligence. Let's turn around, though. Instead of looking backwards, what if we turned around and we looked forward? What if we looked to the future? What if we looked to the now? Do we really like the idea of reporting on issues we had yesterday, the day before, or last month? Do we really like reporting on missed opportunities, issues, missed opportunities? Do we like reporting upon the fact that we missed it, that we did it wrong? Why not look at what's happening right now? Real-time business intelligence about the data that's occurring right now. I often say this one. Would you really want to know today that you shipped a product to customer ranking 357 when customer ranking number 2 placed a quickly available order, something that should have shipped immediately, but we didn't have enough product? But yesterday we had the opportunity to pull the product from that low-ranking customer and assign it to the high-ranking customer. Today it's too late. Yesterday, had we had real-time business intelligence, we could have affected change like that. Apply that scenario to your business, whether it's government, higher ed, sales, manufacturing, distribution, or financial companies that are on the line today. How does that relate to your business? Being able to make a decision today so that it's not too late. What is the data that could be in a data mart? What's a data mart? Well, a data mart actually brings together data from multiple source systems in such a way that the speed and the performance and the amount of information, true metrics and measurements that are available to me are available in a form that the business intelligence tools know what to do with. Data marts are an industry standard approach to bringing the data together. You should be able to summarize the data, drill down to the details, do all the analysis across all the related informations, the dimensions that you need to do. A data mart allows you to say yes. It allows you to say yes because whatever question is asked of you, you could say, sure, I can get you that. Now, some of it's very simple to get. Complex measures, complex analytics may take some time, but at least I have the data and I can say yes. Now, I mentioned metrics and I mentioned analytics. What's the difference? Well, let me give you a couple examples here. Metrics are a simple measurement. When I take those metrics and I put it through the machine, analytics can come out. They're quantitative measurements across multiple dimensions. Good examples of that might be something that's true and verifiable versus speculative analytic, like quantity, which becomes profit by item, or something like list price that's part of selling cost by customer. Okay, so metrics are axioms. They're absolute truths. Quantity shipped, quantity backordered, quantity held. List price, it's the list price for the item. Those are truths. They're absolute truths. Selling cost by customer, profit by item. What two customers define their analytics? What two of my customers define their analytics exactly the same? None. There are analytics out there that are so unique to every single one of our customers that there's no way I'm going to know that up front. What RapidDecision EDW does is we make sure that we have all your metrics and measures and some sample analytics for you to get started. We make sure that all the building blocks are there for you to consume. Now, what's really complex is when you actually start taking data from multiple sources to start analyzing groups of analytics like order to cash, procure to pay, customer profitability, and inventory allocation. These analytics, these groups of analytics, are some of the more common cross-module reporting that our customers need to do. I'm going to look at all four of these with you today. What if we took a look at order to cash? Somebody places an order. What are all the things that come into play here? Well, this one's fairly straightforward. What comes into play is the actual order, the sales order processing. The bills or invoices that are updated into the accounts receivable system, and then the cash collection. So those are three of the sources. Now, we're going to keep it simple here. There's other sources that could come into play here, but you need three things: the sales orders, the invoices, and the cash. That's order to cash. If I had it, what am I going to know? Well, I'm going to know who's a good customer because I'm going to know who's paying on time, who's taking advantage of discounts, who's adversely taking advantage of discounts. How we actually get what our preferred customer status is going to come at. This is one of the things that it's going to go into. Who qualifies for top 3, 10, 20, 100? What's my top customer according to order to cash? And why do you need it? Well, credit and collections is going to need it. Business decisions, negotiation of terms with those customers. If they're taking excess discounting, not paying on time, when you come down to actually negotiating the terms of the next contract with that customer, wouldn't it be nice to have the data? Not that they bought $10 million of goods, services, but that they actually consumed it all. They didn't cancel the order. That, well, they accepted the invoices. They paid based upon the terms. What is it that order to cash tells you is all in there? On the opposite side of the spectrum, you have the procure to pay. You as a customer now from your suppliers and vendors. Well, I'm certainly going to need my purchase orders, my receipts, the invoice, there's my three-way match, and then my payment to my vendors, my suppliers. What are my current liabilities? Who should I be paying when? Am I taking advantage of discounts that are being applied to me? What's the value of those discounts not taken? Well, what's the value of the cash today? Why I need it? Well, it's my cash flow decisions and when I'm negotiating as the customer. So the opposite side of the spectrum, order to cash, procure to pay. Fairly straightforward, but you've got 4 different sources here at different granularities. We're going to talk about granularities today. Inventory allocation, another one. On-hand inventory, finished goods. What's my demand from sales? How much product's actually in the works? Relate this to your business if you're a service industry. You know, what is my excess capacity? What am I using? What's the utilization rates? In stock? Near stock? Should I be sending the inventory to the right customer? Of course. That's really why you need a lot of this. People aren't keeping excess inventory these days. Now let's get to the real one. Customer profitability, sometimes called the Holy Grail. Customer profitability is an interesting one because it takes quite a few sources, and I will tell you, I've only listed 7 of them here. There's a lot of other sources that could be listed here. I certainly need my sales, the discounts on sales given, the billings, the off-invoice discounting that they're taking, such as terms, conditions, volume credits year-to-date, 12-month-to-date, individual order, specials, things like that, returns. That one can really bite you. It's so funny. I was working with a CPG customer years ago, and what they absolutely knew was who their top 23 customers were. Top 23. They knew it was such a difference between those first 23 and everybody else, they called it 23. Well, they were right about those customers. They were right about 7 of them. They were only right about 7 of them. 15 of their top 23 weren't even close, and it was because of that second to last item there, the returns. These customers were ordering a ton of product. They were getting a ton of product, and they were returning a ton of product 3 and 4 months later because they were seasonal businesses. Nobody was taking into account returns. What about the cost of selling? Well, is that a small portion in your business or is it a large portion in your business? There's so many things that could come into play here that customer profitability is unique to each customer. This one's extremely important. So how do we look at it? What does it tell me? Well, it tells me everything about my business. If this is my business, selling products or services to a customer, it tells me everything. Why do I need it? Well, if you have to ask, I can't tell you, okay? This one's just really obvious. I mean, your customer item profitability is part and parcel to service and manufacturing distribution companies that are out there, okay? This can be related to a whole bunch of different industries, including financial institutions, higher education, government. You know, you basically have, everybody has a product, whether it's a service or a product, whatever it might be. What is the information I need to do to answer those tough questions? Now, why is it so tough? Now we're getting to the nitty-gritty here. Why is it so tough to report on data that's coming from multiple sources? This is the rub here, right? BI tools tend to join the data together, but simply joining the data together can create errors that you did not expect. What a lot of times people say you need is a common denominator to summarize that data to, so that we can have consistent, reliable data. The answer really isn't in the BI tool. The BI tools are going to grab the data and they're going to do the best job they possibly can. The answer really is, how do I prepare the data in advance so that any business intelligence tool works properly? That's the real part of this. You know, it's the old phrase, garbage in, garbage out. If we don't prepare the data so that any BI tool can take advantage of it and knows how to bring it together, well, it's really not going to be of value. It's like buying the best race car in the world and not knowing how to drive it, okay? Business intelligence tools are only as good as the structure of that underlying data. So let's talk about exactly how this works. A good example here would be, and this is probably the more simple example for people to understand, so the next couple slides are real key. Sales orders of $1 million. Sounds good. I've agreed to invoice my customer 4 times, once a quarter for 4 quarters, $250,000 each. Okay, this is a real-world scenario. I've given them terms where they're going to pay 50% within 10 days and the other 50% within 30 days. So I'm going to wind up receiving 8 checks. This is a simple scenario, but I think everybody can understand it. $1 million order that was billed 4 times, and I've agreed to 50-50 terms on this, so I wind up with 8 checks. Sounds simple. I have my sales, I have my invoicing, I have my checks. So what happens? If I simply join the data together, if I do a database level join and bring that data together, what happens? Well, what happens is the 8 check records, 2 check records are joined to the same invoice and all the invoices are joined to the same order. And what happens is my order totals $8 million, 8 times the amount. Boy, the sales reps are going to love you. The invoices are going to equal $2 million and the cash receipts are going to equal $1 million. Well, the numbers don't look good and nobody's going to really know why. So what happens here? We consider that a failure. We don't know what happened. We can't explain it. Well, it's really the joining that was wrong here. Okay, that's the issue. We need to be able to do something else. So let's try this a different way. Well, what if we summarize the data? That's what everybody says. Summarize it to the common denominator. Well, that's good. You know, we can summarize, one order to one order. That's good. We could summarize the 4 invoices to, well, 1 invoice. We could summarize the checks to 1 check. That sounds good, right? Well, it looks good so far. We've got $1 million total on all of them. Okay, that's good. Now, somebody's looking at this and they say, okay, great. When did I receive my cash and did I receive it on time? Well, I have no idea. Why? Because I summarized out all the biographical information about the invoices and checks. What is the cash receipt date on that $1 million? Well, there isn't a cash receipt date. There's 8 cash receipt dates. Herein lies the problem. We start losing what I call biographical data, the biographical information about my transactions. Because by the way, anybody who knows me knows I'm a recovering accountant. I love the details, okay? I like being able to drill down to the details, and there's no way I would accept this, so I would call that a failure as well. So what do we need to do? What we need to do is we need to prepare the data in such a way that I can keep the granularity of my orders, my invoices, and my checks. I need to be able to merge the data together in such a way that when I relate the data or merge the data together, I get $1 million of sales is related to $1 million of invoices, of which there's 4 of them, which is related to $1 million of cash receipts, in other words, the 8 different checks that I received. If I were able to look at the data in this way, would I or would I not have order to cash? Yes. Do I have the summary? Yes. Do I have the detail? Yes. Do I have all the biographical information that anybody's going to ask? Yes, I do. So what do I call that? I call that a success. Now you can prepare the data as well as you want. You could even think about all the business intelligence tools that are out there. These are a couple rankings we have internal. That's a different presentation. But dependent upon where your business intelligence tool ranks in accessing data, how it displays the data, how you would present it, how good is your BI tool? Is it going to be able to assemble the data from across multiple lines of business in such a way that it does make sense, that you can see the summary, you can look at the detail, you can see all the biographical information. And let's throw in timeliness, ease of use. Gosh, those are some of the most important parts of doing data warehousing and business intelligence and analytics today. Am I looking at yesterday's data, or am I looking at data that is up to the minute right now? What is it that I'm looking at? Is it easy for me to consume it? Do I have to go through all sorts of hoops and boundaries and walls? And what do I have to do to assemble this data in such a way that I understand it? Is that data truly going to be accurate so that I can sign my name to the bottom of the report? Am I going to be able to see the summary level and drill all the way down to the details? Is it capable of telling me how to drill between modules and submodules, subledger processing? Is it going to be able to do that? And am I going to be spending hundreds of thousands of dollars every year to have people write the reports for me, or can I do it myself? All those questions lead to one simple fact. The first thing you have to do is unlock the data. And that's what RapidDecision is the best in the world at doing. What we started doing 20 years ago is building a repository of information that is continuously fed. Every single warehouse RapidDecision has sold in the past 20 years has been continuously fed. Marketing people like to say real time. To me, real time is sub 1 second. We are 10 seconds, 15 seconds. Depends upon your systems. We might even be a minute behind production. But even if we were a minute behind production, isn't that better than seeing yesterday's data today? RapidDecision is continuously fed so that when vouchers and invoices and cash receipts occur in the production systems that we support, they wind up in our repository, our data warehouse, our in-memory analytics. There's a lot of different products that Datalytics RapidDecision is offering today. There's a lot of different versions of it. Let's drill down a level. I love that word, drill down. Let's go down one level and take a look at how RapidDecision is doing that. I like to keep things simple. Let's call it ABC. Sesame Street approach. We move every add, change, and delete that occurs in your production system once and only once to what's called the RapidDecision repository. Why is that so important to you? You're going to say, so what, Joe? This is getting technical, and I'm a business person. Well, the business people should care about this more than anybody else. RapidDecision moves every transaction once and only once from your production system. We do it by not even reading the production data, but rather the log that the data exists in. We are the minimum definable impact to your systems. We move that data down to the subject areas: sales, inventory, purchasing, invoicing, cash receipts, general ledger. All the subject areas are C. All the heavy lifting goes on in RapidDecision between B and C after we've removed it from your production system. We then present that data in what's known as a metadata layer, D, and reports, analytics, dashboards, views, and analysis tools, E. Our customers over the years have used probably 30 or 40 different business intelligence tools. The top 4 that they tend to use are Business Objects, Cognos, MicroStrategy, and Oracle BI. Those are the main 4 that our customers use on top of RapidDecision. In reality, any business intelligence tool, including our old friend Excel, can get data out of RapidDecision and mingle it together with other sets of data. RapidDecision, what are we? RapidDecision is the data extraction, the data warehouse, the data marts, the in-memory analytics, the metadata. It's everything you need to do to come to fruition. It's everything you need to do to say, yes, I can get you that information. RapidDecision offers a myriad of different webinars, on-site demonstrations, test drives, and we're often at the major conferences. If there's something else that is of interest to you, whether it's the comparison of the 4 BI tools, if you want to know more about RapidDecision, or other webinars that we provide to our customers, we encourage you to meet us, have it face-to-face. We do web meetings on a daily basis so that we can answer your questions. In terms of questions and answers today, though, what I'm going to do at this time is I'm going to turn it back over to Doug Corpuel, and I'm going to see if anybody's typed in some questions so far, and he's going to give you some instructions on how to do that. Doug?
Thanks, Joe. That was outstanding as always. And we already have several questions that have been submitted online. But before we get to them, I want to remind everybody that if you'd like to ask a question, you may do so through the questions panel on the right side of your screen. If you minimized your console earlier, please press the orange left arrows to redisplay the questions panel. Joe, I had a few questions come in while you were talking. The first one here, the person's asking, is it more complex the more sources we have? What is the maximum number of sources you recommend we join?
Two questions there, two very good ones. Let's handle the second one first. What are the maximum number of sources I should combine together? All of them. You should have a goal of complete and total success. Bringing in all the sources of data and mingling them together in a proper format is the goal here. Is it more complex? Of course it is. But RapidDecision's never shied away from a problem. RapidDecision's product and consultants know how to bring not only the Oracle ERP sources into RapidDecision's data models, but other data sources as well. Yes, it is more complex the more sources you have, but that's where the business value actually goes up exponentially as well. Doug?
Okay, thanks, Joe. Next question here is someone saying, what do we do if our analytics are constantly changing?
That's a good one. It's kind of funny because customers often wonder while they're buying RapidDecision, they say, hey, how come all my analytics don't come with your product? Well, they not only are different analytics between customers, but customers are constantly changing their formulas. Well, that's where the definition of metrics and measures versus analytics comes in. If you're the type of organization, and most of our customers are, that are constantly changing the formulas for profitability, utilization, or good versus bad, let's just call it that. If you're constantly changing it, you better make sure you have 100% of the metrics and measures. Remember I said earlier those were your axioms, your absolute truths? RapidDecision makes sure that when we access a source table, we don't bring what you think you want today. We bring 100% of that data. It's extremely important to have 100% of your measures and your metrics inside this thing, a data warehouse, a virtual data store, in memory, whatever it is. It's important to have 100% of your metrics and your measures so that when you do change your formula for those analytics, you can do it easily at the metadata layer of the BI tool. So that's the answer to that one, Doug.
Okay, thank you, Joe. I only have a few questions left, so if you'd like to ask a question, now would be the time to do it. Someone's asking, does real-time really matter?
Well, yeah, I'm surprised I got that question. I haven't had that one in a while. Real-time definitely does matter. I don't know a business, even in a slowly changing business, I don't know a business that does not need to or can't benefit from today's data today. Even in, I've been in some government agencies recently and they say, oh my gosh, we move extremely slow. Well, what about an encumbrance that just occurred or didn't occur? What about a project that didn't start on time and a phone call that needs to be made? What about, somebody who quit or retired? Don't we need to know these things today versus tomorrow in any business, whether it be government, public sector, private sector, whatever it is? I don't know any decision that would be better made tomorrow than today. So yes, I think you do need real-time analytics, real-time warehousing.
Okay, Joe. Next question I have, someone's asking, do some BI tools handle things better than others?
Things. Wow, that's a wide area there. Yes, the answer is yes. I think the BI tools that know how to merge data together and not only join data together, those one-trick pony BI tools, I guess I would call them. There's a handful of business intelligence tools. Two of them were on that list of 4 I had earlier. That really know how to merge the data together or align the data together instead of just joining it. The BI tools that only join data sets, you're going to fail. It's going to be extremely difficult to do anything other than operational reporting in a really pretty manner with these BI tools. So back to you, Doug.
Okay, and Joe, the final question, any advice on how we get our organization to agree on analytics? Can we put the data warehouse in before we agree on data analytics? So kind of a loaded question there.
Well, yeah, I guess you're asking a person who believes in staging the data properly whether or not they should put the warehouse in first, and the answer is of course. And I think that's been backed up by some of the top analyst firms in the world. Once again, buying a business intelligence tool does not mean automatic success. If the data is not organized in a fashion that the business intelligence tools can consume it, how are you possibly going to succeed? RapidDecision has hundreds and hundreds of customers who use many different BI tools either independently or together at the same location. The success really comes in from the BI tools not having to go through the hoops to make the data work. They should simply be consuming the data, turning it into information so humans can turn that information into action. That's really what we want to do today. The analytics that need to be delivered must come from data that's prepared for the business intelligence tools to consume. So that's what I have, Doug.
Okay. Well, thanks, Joe. That's the final question. It's been a great webinar. Do you have any final comments before we sign off?
Sure, Doug. The same final comment I always have. What I ask of everybody on the phone today and on the web today is do something, do anything, just don't do nothing. Business intelligence is truly something that can simultaneously save you time, save you money, and make you money. No other investment you make today can possibly do all three of those for you. Analytics are what you can use to drive your business forward to success. So I appreciate everybody's time today. I want to thank everybody for joining us, and if you have any questions, please contact us.
Thank you, everybody.